Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Taki-ro Die Twice on PC. Okay, so we are at the last part of the game. This is the final boss. I went through and I found all of my upgrades, so I am at the highest bar you can get as far as the posture and everything. I'm at the highest attack you can possibly get at this stage in the game without doing a New Game Plus. So this boss is difficult, to say the least. I think generally the first two forms of this boss, I think the manageable, and then the last two forms I don't think are reasonable at all. Now, of course, it's been like 20 hours since we fought this guy. So, you know, I don't think most players are gonna even like recognize any of his patterns because it's been so long since we fought him. No, yeah, Ashna's like totally gone, man. Oh, see, someone's giving him a hand, I see. For a grandchild. Oh, what? He comes fully clothed out? He's like even wearing different clothes. This doesn't make sense. Even in this world, this doesn't make sense. You really don't have to, actually. You know, we're actually pretty good friends outside of your weirdo spirit world. Uh-oh. That son of a bitch. Ah, that's... that team's trying to update. Another form. That I wouldn't be surprised with. Memory. Saint Ishin. At his peak, Ishin Ashina devoted himself to deadly conflict in pursuit of strength, a single-minded killing machine of a man. Dragonflash. In his younger years, Ishin was a devil with a sword, spending his days in pursuit of life-or-death combat. He often ruminated on how a cut should be made, but his blade always moved first. Now, this is where we went through all the trouble with the other divine heir, the artificial divine heir, getting her to be sick, and then giving her the persimmon, and so now the best ending can be given with the Dragon Tears and the Frozen Tears. All of these give you kind of different endings, but this is the best ending, so let's go for it. Am I going to carry him all the way home? No, I'm going to be exhausted. Well, actually, no, we're going west. So we're heading towards India. That's some weird world, let me tell you. just using historical places and events as a background, but you know, there's nothing real about this game. It's definitely a fantasy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, that's cool. I kind of like the idea. Makes history even more interesting than it really is.
みんな私は行かねばなりません我らの因果を断ち切るためにとても長い旅になりますそれでも共に来てくださるのですか
Oh, this didn't. Oh, I see the model's all messed up at the end. Damn it.
竜の忍びよ九郎殿も喜んでおります
So Kuro does die, but he gets reborn. Oh.
参りましょう西に神なる竜の故郷
You know, if they officially make a game with Taki in it, I'll pre-order it. Alright, so, yeah, that was Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. I don't know what to think about this game. I mean, I like lots of parts of the game. I just don't like the entire sum of it, you know? I mean, I think there are times when the combat feels really good, when it's being, you know, challenging but fair, but there are many encounters where it's really, it doesn't feel fair at all. It just feels like everything's cheating. And you know, for people that want to cheat on the game, yeah, I say more power to them. The game heavily cheats against the player, so I don't, I wouldn't put anybody down for cheating in the game in one way or another. There's a bunch of exploits, obviously. I mean, like I did with the Rage Demon, which was an optional boss actually. So I mean, it wasn't so much a requirement to do that boss. But I think for everything else, I didn't use any sort of cheats. I just played the game as it was. But the Rage Demon and Ishin, I think, are not very well balanced. It would have been nice if there was more time spent on those bosses, but you know, while it's possible to beat them, for me, my hand-eye coordination just isn't quite there. You know, I'm not quite young enough to do, you know, that fast manipulation, and I think the camera sort of hurts a little bit on the Rage Demon and with Ishin, because it's just a little far away, so it's sort of hard to see the animations that would give you the tells that would help you play the game. I also think that the environment interferes too much in those two fights, so it's harder for me to get behind all those other fights. And I think overall the camera just has some issues, which means that while there's, I'm sure, a fair amount of Q&A spent on the game, didn't seem like there's quite enough. You know, design of the rooms I don't feel were really conducive to battle. It's where something like a Bayonetta or like a Devil May Cry, I think that's where they succeed, is that they can give you arenas that match the fight, you know, so that you're having a good time fighting as opposed to being frustrated with the camera. So you know, FromSoftware has a ways to go in order to catch up to you know, to Platinum or to Capcom. But I think they're getting there. You know, if you look at this game compared to Dark Souls 3 or the original Demon Souls, I mean, they've come a really long way in getting that combat perfected. You know, the games are difficult, to be sure, and I don't agree with how the difficulty's handled. You know, I think having the checkpoints be so far away is a mistake, in my opinion, and I think the penalty for experience loss is also a mistake. I mean, I don't like what they did with that. But you know, we played through it and we got through the most of the game. I did get, I think, everything that you could get on a first run. So that's all the prayer beads, all of the gourd upgrade, all of the gourds. Um, not all of the abilities. I think you have to play a New Game Plus to get all the abilities. You just don't earn enough experience to do that. But you know, as well as I could, I've gotten everything that I possibly could have. You know, this game does change as patches go from patches, and so you know, you may get stuck, and you know, maybe you're looking for a hint guide or a boss guide, and by now, most of the boss guides that I looked at when I was stuck on a boss don't work anymore. So I think the Rage Demon still works, that trick still works, and in general, the tricks for Ishin no longer work anymore. So Ishin doesn't really keep that far away from you anymore. His second and third phases, you know, he closes the gap way more often, and you never really get any respite to do any healing or anything. So you kind of have to go through the first two phases without a scratch, for the most part, and then the last two phases you have to stay like super close into him in order to even do enough posture damage to him. And I think without spending, well, actually, even if you did the trick to do like charge hits against him, as I said, he doesn't fall for those tricks anymore. So he stays away, or no, he doesn't stay away. He comes in close now, so that you can't really poke at him anymore, which is a real shame. I think for the last boss and it being for so long, it would have been nice if they just would have left the glitches in there. But yeah, it is what it is. I also think it's okay that people don't finish this game. You know, you play it until you can get as far as you can, and that's totally fine. And I have a hard time suggesting this to anybody because it is a game made for only the most hardcore. The people who are willing to forgive a lot of the glitchiness of the game, of the AI and the controller response, because they're getting, you know, mostly exciting fights. I don't know. I do want to see a sequel, but I want to see a sequel with a lot more care. And less repeating enemies and areas. I was getting sick of seeing Ashina, you know, it's Ashina on fire, then Ashina closed off, and then you had to get the checkpoints over again. And it was like, yeah, it's too much recycling. The game already feels a little padded as it is, you know. So we'll set that you'll not be able to return to the current playthrough. Yeah, that's fine. So New Game Plus, that's nice that they've added the ability. But we won't be doing that here. I'll play a little bit on and off, but certainly not for podcast. But there you go. That was Sekiro. Oh, no. That was Sekiro with some character mods. And that was the end. That was the best ending you could get. There was a lot of trouble to get that ending. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Anyway, this is audap with Sekiro on PC. I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.